Living together, reconciliation ecology. Reconciliation ecology. The term reconciliation ecology is used to describe the deliberate sharing of places where we live with other species. Because as we all know, before humans developed urban communities, the land before that was just natural, and it was all natural habitats for the native species to live. And as humans developed, we destroyed a lot of this habitat. In the modern era of growing human population, urban development, and habitat destruction, we need to try to find ways to integrate ourselves with the rest of the biosphere. Habitats in the midst of humans are not ideal for species, but it allows at least some of the animals to survive. Over time, natural selection and resilience may allow us and many of our non-human neighbors to adapt to living together in the new world as it is. However, first, reconciliation must take place in certain areas. Two areas that are commonly used for habitats for various species are yards and parks. However, many adjustments can be made to improve them. One adjustment would be to provide more structure in the plant communities of the parks. The more plants and vegetation, the more dead leaves and vegetation fall to the ground and collect on the surface. Allowing multiple layers of that vegetation to ground surfaces provides habitat niches for certain species that live in the floor. Vegetation also provides water where possible on the ground, and they act as cover and shelter for certain animals. Also, when these trees die, allowing dead trees to remain where they are act as another form of habitat for insects and other animals. Another animal that has been affected by humans' development and urbanization have been birds. Birds are slowly losing their habitats and struggling with finding places where they should nest. Humans are helping with this by building nest boxes on poles to compensate for lost nesting space in their natural habitats. These boxes provide a safe place for birds to build nests and they are protected from elements and predators. Another trend in reconciliation has been the development of green roofs. Green roofs offer wildlife habitats for butterflies, other insects, and birds, rather than an extra floor of parking in a garage. Many city parking garage structures are now being built with parks on the top floor. The parks are a type of green roof and help achieve sustainability. Reconciliation is taking place in many areas. Some other areas include golf courses, cemeteries, military sites, and other agricultural lands. One way to restore cemeteries would be to add more trees. Adding more trees at walkways, like the picture shows, creates a green canopy above, providing shade for the animals in the area. And of course, leaving foliage behind, creating more habitats on the floor. Roads and wildlife crossings. Vehicles on roads kill millions of animals every year. Many departments of transportation have wildlife crossing programs. The most common style is a wildlife underpass. This is a type of underpass where the wildlife can cross under the road. Other animal crossings are vegetated overpasses, like the one I have shown in this image. Animals are able to cross the road without any harm. In other areas, fencing is added in some places to protect animals from traffic and to guide them to safe crossings. Rewilding and large-scale corridors. In the early 1990s, a group of biologists began to develop an approach known as rewilding, built on the importance of large-scale habitats, corridors, and to connect them and large predators to regulate prey and smaller predators, together with other keystone species, summarizing the essential elements with the phrases core and corridors. So essentially, in areas where humans develop, some biologists are starting to rewild them and bring back certain predators and prey to get the ecosystem up and running again, because these animals are important for the environment, and not only that, the keystone species that they play a major role in providing habitats for hundreds and hundreds of other animals. Ecology and Anthropocene. Ecosystems are dynamic and somewhat unpredictable because life on Earth is made of complex adaptive systems which feature emergence and resilience. With that being said, ecosystems are known to be the same, but that's not exactly true. They're very dynamic. They're always changing, and they're very unpredictable. Restoration efforts often work to return an ecosystem to some state in the past. Human activities have moved all kinds of species to new locations where they have adapted and settled in. For example, when temperatures rise, certain animals that thrive on that low temperature may move and adapt in different communities so that they can achieve that low temperature that they need to survive. The new communities being created, which are not managed by humans, are known as novel ecosystems. Reconciliation in South Florida is definitely going on every day around us. I know that, for example, because I volunteered at the Naples Preserve, which is a great example of the reconciliation and restoration efforts taking place. So volunteers remove non-native species and reintroduce species which have vanished locally in order to restore a system to a historical baseline. So I volunteered here, and what we did was, instead of having a controlled fire, we mimicked a fire by raking the debris and foliage from the floor, and that way more sunlight would come through the floor, and native species of plant species begin to sprout over time because now they're not blocked by this foliage. And this area acts as a feeding ground for the gopher tortoises, which are a keystone species here in Florida. So once we were done raking and throwing out the debris from the floor, it was quite gratifying to see a gopher tortoise, a keystone species here in Florida, come out and feed on the grasses in the area. The picture to the right, actually, you could see her eating. And another thing we did to restore the land was planting these plants. These plants were a very specific type of plant that were beneficial to butterflies. Butterflies lay their egg on them, and they're very important for the butterfly and other species.